that this is the same man who's been against our community, not even just in terms of the Breonna case, the Breonna Taylor case, right? Say her name, but everything else. Look at what he stands for. Look at his attacks against healthcare and trying to peel back the Medicaid expansion that took place in the state. That is a direct attack against the health of Black communities. Look at his attack, unsolicited attack against affirmative action, where after the Supreme Court had their affirmative action case, which dealt only with education, here comes Daniel signing a letter with a bunch of other attorney generals, basically warning companies that they need to end their affirmative action hiring policies. Ain't nobody asked him to send a letter. That wasn't even what the Supreme Court decided. He just went and took it upon himself to go out and pursue such a letter, which again directs our communities, attacks our jobs, attacks our wages, attacks our families. So it's not even just his stance on the Breonna Taylor case and police accountability. It's issue after issue after issue where he has shown himself to be just as much of a threat to the Black community as the staunchest white supremacist. You don't have to be white to pursue and reinforce white supremacist policies. As we said in the ad, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
And you laid out all of those particular issues, and when we talk about Breonna Taylor, first of all, the federal trial begins on Monday for one of the officers who was involved in that. It was Daniel Cameron who, I found nothing. But it's amazing how the feds found stuff and have already gotten guilty pleas, but he found nothing and did nothing.
Right, and he hides around, you'll in every interview, anytime he's asked about it, he'll say, well, all I can do is uphold the law and follow the law, and, my hands were tied, there was nothing I can do. And we know that that's not true. We know that that is gaslighting to the highest degree. We know that there are all types of violations that could have been filed, just as the Department of Justice is currently doing so against those who killed Breonna, who murdered Breonna. He could have done that. Other attorney generals were able to do the same. Keith Ellison in Minnesota was able to do the same. I mean, so there have been others at the state level, at the county level, and at all levels have found it somehow within the law to enforce when police officers kill a Black person. To say that there was nothing he could do is basically, he's repeating Judge Taney's line from the Dred Scott case, where he's basically saying that a Black man or woman sitting in our own apartment, sleeping in our own apartment, has no rights which a white man or a white police officer is bound to respect. Again, when we have an attorney general and a candidate for governor that takes that kind of a position, that is a threat to our entire community. And we say it again, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
When we talk, and again, I think what you have here is you have Cameron not wanting to tick off police unions, wanting to kiss up to them, and that's what you're dealing with here.
Exactly. I mean, he's cast his lot. Look, he decided a long time ago which team he was going to be on, and whether that's the side of the police unions or whether that's the side of Mitch McConnell. I mean, he takes some amount of pride, and Mitch McConnell takes some amount of pride in calling him like one of his proteges, right? And so, he's picked his side, and his side is very much the side of anti-Blackness. His side is very much the side that's against our safety, that's against our health, that's against our economic well-being, that's against our education, that's against our maternal health. On all these issues, he's picked the wrong side.
And I mean, look, and this is a perfect example of, we use the phrase, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. The reality is the white Democratic governor of Kentucky has made it clear he restored the voting rights of formerly incarcerated. He has been clear where he stands on Medicaid expansion, which impacts African Americans. He's made it clear where he stands on voting rights. Here's a perfect example of a white Democrat who, frankly, is aligned more with Black voters than Black Daniel Cameron, Republican.
Exactly. And that's why we always say, it, Roland, we always say that, we're all about us, right? The back of our shirts say it's about us. We focus on our issues. It's not about glorifying any particular candidate, and nor is it about demonizing another candidate, even a candidate that we don't like or may disagree with, right? But it's about what are the issues that different candidates stand for. And at the end of the day, Andy Beshear is head and shoulders just in a different league when it comes to his position on issues that are of concern to our community, whether it's restoration of voting rights or voting rights even more writ large, or whether it's police accountability, or whether it's healthcare or reproductive justice. On all these issues, issues that impact our community, there is a fundamental difference. And so any day, it's funny because people think that, people like to accuse us of, Roland, they say, oh, you only voted for Obama for 90-something% because he's black, and y'all are just all about race, and that's racist. And then when we come out an ad criticizing a black candidate, they say, oh, that's racist. Well, which one is it? Are we always guided by race and we'll vote for anybody black no matter what? Or is it that, in fact, that we are actually guided by the stances on our issues? And if Andy Beshear or any other white Democrat is going to be better on the issues than a black Republican on our issues, then we're always going to fall on the side of our issues at the end of the day.
And that's what it boils down to. In black folks in Kentucky, it's abundantly clear that Daniel Cameron has not been on the right side of the issues that black folks care about.
It's abundantly clear, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. Because you might have some folks that don't know that it's that clear, right? Maybe they don't know about all these issues. Maybe they know about the Breonna Taylor, but maybe they get confused when he gaslights us and he says, well, I did everything that I could do, right? Or maybe they don't know about his position on healthcare, or maybe they don't know about his anti-LGBT positions, or any of the other positions. He's got a thing on the Attorney General's website, Roland, not his campaign website, the Attorney General's website, that says that one of his top priorities, you go to the website right now, pull it up, one of his top priorities is to stop wokeness. You are the Attorney General of a state talking about that your priority is to stop wokeness. You sound like DeSantis, and we don't need another DeSantis in the state of Kentucky any more than we need him in Florida or any place else.
And here's the other deal. He is standing foursquare with Donald Trump, and we damn sure are not. And so he wants Trump back in office. That absolutely is not beneficial to black people.
Yeah, I didn't even talk about that. Thanks, Roland, for bringing that back up. I didn't even mention that. Yeah, he stands squarely with Trump. He says Trump is good for the country. Even when asked specifically, you can listen to interviews when he's been asked specifically and repeatedly, because evidently the person doing the interview just couldn't really believe what they were hearing, where they asked him about specific things that he has said about the black community, about specific policies, about specific things that he said about predominantly black or African descent countries, right? And in every case, all Cameron would fall back on is, I believe he's best for us. I believe his values are best for us. Like, why he would use Donald Trump and values in the same sentence, I don't even understand that. And so at the end of the day, no, we don't need somebody who even now, knowing all that we know about not just his horrible policies as a twice impeached president, but knowing all we know about the insurrection, about the coup that he tried to do, even now, knowing all this, he still stands squarely with him. He is a threat not just to our community, he's a threat to this entire country. We cannot have him. It's bad enough that he's in the Attorney General position. We definitely can't have him in the governor's mansion, not in any state.